Hello, 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 and welcome to the latest installment of And Sarah Appeared. My name is Sarah, and I'm appearing before you right now because I think with everything that I've been processing and going through, one of the things that I think I'm getting back into, I wanted to kind of talk about how it's important for me to be still and unpack a lot of things because there's a relearning of life that I'm actually doing. You have to understand, even though there are, we call society a matrix, we call it different things like that. And I definitely understand the analogy of it. I think it's a appropriate term to use, especially when you know the context of the actual movie or the books of the Matrix. I think it's a superbly accurate way to kind of describe the nuances of society that we tend to get stuck on. With that being said, there are ecosystems within the perspective matrices. There's ecosystems in it. And so each ecosystem has their own storyline that they have to play on a loop, and it's like um watching life in a movie theater, and that's a part or a function of one ecosystem within a storyline that is being created. And so you have to break out of the ecosystem after ecosystem after ecosystem to get into the truth of what everything is and what's going on around you. And that's where, for me, like, Christ came in, because it was like Christ came and shattered all the ignorance that was going on. He came in and it was like, okay, well, I'm going to allow you to experience what is beyond this. And I'm going to allow you to see how things are. And you have a choice. It's like red pill, blue pill, even within coming into the knowledge and the revelation of who God is, of who Christ is. And so I say that to say this: when you break out of when you break out of the lull, the spell of whatever kind of bubble you were in, um, negative bubble that you were in, when you break out of that, and it's like you're able to kind of, it is the concept of being born again. It's like you're being renewed because your mind and your soul is freed from old paradigms that were created from bad mistakes or bad behaviors, that literally ran down your bloodline and affected and made up what was going on with you today. So having and inviting Christ into my life broke all of that off. With breaking all of that off, I'm able to breathe again, or breathe for the first time. It's like a baby coming out, using their lungs for the first time. What do? They let out a hurtling scream, a cry, a yell, because that is a sign of life. So when it looks like you're kicking, you're screaming, you're fighting, there's chaos, it may be that Christ has just broken the yoke. Christ has just broken the sack that you were in. Christ has just broken the barrier, the bubble, everything that was holding you within this capsule of doom, and he broke it, and he's taking you out of it. But when he's pulling you out of it, understand that you're coming out of a glass shard capsule. So you're not going to come out of it without having scrapes, bruises. You're not going to come out of it without having certain things that are going to pierce you and try to pull you back down and make you stop the process. It's going to feel like excruciating pain, but he's going to pull you all the way out. He's going to finish that work that he started within you. And when he does that, you are going to be letting out a hurtling scream and cry the entire time. And if you hear anything, you might hear this dog in the back, I don't know, the neighbor's dog who's like whimpering or crying. Anytime there's a cry, it is not a pleasant thing to experience, because it's not a noise that we would coincide with beauty. It's not a noise that we would say, oh, this is like a melody. I love to hear this. It's not a noise that you would say, oh, this is something that, you know, I could really live with for the rest of my life. It's not a noise that coincides with peace. It's a noise that coincides with life. John 10:10, the thief come to steal, kill, and destroy, but beloved, I come that you may have life and life more abundantly. Screams and cries come with the cradle of life. It is a sign of life. It's a sign of life. The screaming, the kicking, it's a sign of life. And just like God, those nurses that take you out of your mother's womb, allow the umbilical cord to get cut, wash you, clean you, lather you together, wrap you up, swaddle you, and present you. That's just how it is when God is in your life. He is going to take you through a process of cleaning you up, swaddling you, getting you together, getting the blood washed off of you, getting the secretion, washed off of you. Everything that was on you, he's going to prepare you. He's going to make sure that you don't look like the blood hurtling scream and cry that you were just letting out. He's going to comfort you, he's going to soothe you, and he's going to present you. And you're not going to look like anything that you went through. And pretty soon, you're not even going to be able to associate or identify anything in your emotional bank with that kind of pain. You'll be able to empathize with others when you hear that same cry, because you'll know in your soul that's a sign of life. So you're not going to judge people in the way that maybe at one point you used to, because you're going to know that cry, you're going to know that scream, and you're going to remember how God had to get you together, and you're going to be the one that's going to be able to, because you identify with that kind of cry, you're the type of person who's most qualified to pray and intercede on the behalf of somebody else who's going through it. Even there are people who are a special case who have never gone through what another person has gone through, but they can feel it, internalize it, and it allows them to intercede from a place of wanting to comfort that person and a place of love. And it's the same thing, but when you are somebody who you've gone through the same thing that somebody else has, and you understand what they gone through, because you remember, it puts you back. It doesn't trigger you, but it puts you back into a place mentally where it's like, I remember, I know what that's like. You are the most qualified to go out there and intercede for that person. You are the most qualified to go in there because you know what it feels like. You know the pain and you recognize the cry. So intercede, pray for somebody who sounds like how you once sounded. Pray for them, and really do pray for them from an area of love. And if you don't understand and you feel like it is hard for you to kind of grasp what's going on in their situation, pray that God take away the ability or the need to understand, and give you the compassion to react in a loving way through your prayer. If we're going to react to anything, let's react to petitioning heaven, to be able to rescue our brothers and sisters out of whatever situation they're going in. Let's make a spiritual call to God. Let's do spiritual 911s and make a call to God to be able to pray and intercede for somebody who's whose scream you really do recognize. Bye for now.